many more stories. So we're trying to say that our intervention is focused on Liberian youth, but specifically women, because we benefit more when they grow. So on behalf of the Ministry of Commerce, our minister is here, she's the keynote speaker, she will say it more. We want to partner with every woman group. Because if you build, if you educate, if you grow a woman, the nation is successful. Yeah. Thank you so much.
We gather hearts aflame beneath a banner bright, a symbol in the burgeoning night, each trail woven for our hope and pain. An experience of triumphs where courage remains. Forward we march, on this ground we claim. Each step a drumbeat, each breath a name. For those who whispered, for those who groaned, in unity we open tomorrow's door. Let the anthem rise from the depth, sword hide, across the mountain, through the vast skies, from every voice, a melody of light, turning dreams into deeps, and darkness to light. At this time, we will call on the Commissioner. Not yet. We'll move forward. We'll make the LRA, I think, last. We now call on Patient B. Rander, Director General, Liberia Business Registrar. Please welcome her.
Distinguished guests, partners, panelists, stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Cleopatra Munayong, star of the Liberia Business Registry. It's an honor to stand before you today, representing my boss, Honorable Patience B. Rander, a trailblazer, a modest woman, a woman who has significantly improved the Liberia Business Registry through some reforms, and she has been an excellent leader looking back at her career. Today, I want to thank the organizer of the Golden Touch Corporation for this invite. The Liberia Business Registry will always be available at any time when you call upon us. We appreciate this invite. And as we are all gathered here today, I hope we can all come together, commit ourselves to bridging the gap of social dependency to sustainable development. To every woman here today, there is no limit to what you can achieve. You are strong, you are powerful, and you are resilient. Thank you.
We are getting there. So at this time, we will welcome National President of Market Women, Liberia, Madam Elizabeth Sampa. Please welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am Elizabeth Samana from the Liberia Marketing Association, President. I think 85% of the women in Liberia are in our market. We have 15% of men. But in the a marketing association. We enjoy to sell our businesses so we can educate our children. And because of the educational level, we decide to fit in the society. And in the society, our area is to sell, to sustain our family. Okay, then I want to say this, that it's not our priority to make our children not to go to school, but the privilege is not given to us. Our marketers, we credit from the banks with heavy interest. We credit from the bank before you count the money. Half of the money leave in the bank before reaching. Then the time given to you is very short for you to pay that money back. But I want to say to the women and whosoever are here today that are able to help the Liberia Marketing Association or the marketers, the women at large, to please look to that direction. Okay, we have markets. We got about 46 markets in the place. And even for the 6 markets, we got only three schools attached to that market. And we can say Raleigh, Wanasa, Lookington, everything full, and Nesebido. But all other markets for the 6 out of 4, for the 2, don't have marketplaces. Look like you go to Ominga. Ominga is a big land, you see, for LME. But this land that is given for LME don't have money. We don't have money. How much we collecting is $20. We got a group of people that we are catering to, especially the day that is in Liberia here. Every day that here is Liberia Marketing Association, which some of the day, the horses are in Monrovia here. Where are they talking there? In the market. The souls are why are they throwing their dead in the market? Some days I feel terrible. Yes. Because it's a corporation, the other corporation, when they come and say, like marketeers are fighting. We are not there. We clean our market. At the end of the day, we still clean the market, we let the market, we take the deck and carry it. But in the morning hours, they left sporting children. They go from house to house. They too want to eat. Because when they go to your house, you get a $5, $10. They take out there, they don't have nowhere to carry. They carry it in the market. Before they bring the money, the whole place is packed with them. These are big challenges that we have in the market. We want our girls to go to school. Some of us, we educate the children to 12th grade. 12th grade, when you have college, it sounds so big in the whole world. You don't feel that you're not able to send your child to college. We feel that they pay no money and making. What time will take it for you to go to college? It's not easy. You are going to that direction. It's not easy. Then we come to the women that go out of town. Women live here to go look for market. If they don't go out, how will you get plenty here? If they don't go out, how will you get pound? When they go out, how will you get Billabong or Pena? They are not growing in this Monrovia area. They grow all these things out of Monrovia. But when they go, they are so many things there. Sometimes you get your money to garden owner, they want to sleep with you before even giving you the products. You go back, boy, the bank photo want to lay out with you before getting the money. The challenges are too much. It's too much. I think it was my early time, a lady left from here to go back planting in Lima. And when she went to buy this planting, the planting owner said, let's go on the farm for you to go and look at the planting and choose all the plantings that you want so we can put it and pack it. With the anxiety, guess what? That man slaughtered that woman and bound her in the water, and so that nothing, the news will not come out. At the end of the day, when the news came out, they took that one body from the water, in the mud, because they buried her in the swamp. All kind of heavy rats on her. They buried her. This acts of mortality is made. But we are asking women. There is no woman more than their friend. We all are women. And the politicians, when they need us, the only time they need us when the election is coming. When the election, they know, they don't know our names. Everybody now us. When you go even to Capital Building, you want to speak to one of them or two of them. When they're coming out, because you see them sitting down, they are getting your name or announce the name, they play. When they come in on, they put the phone on it. Yes, I'm going. These are the challenges. Yes, they make themselves busy, bring
Nothing.
So we are asking our market women, if the way the women used to come and go to our market, try to give us, let's say, the women forms, they used to give us $100 for $10. That was heavy. It's got a great help to us. But now everywhere have been seized. Markets, they say market women don't pay them. Well, take for instance, you go to the bank to credit money, they take everything. Where are you going to start from? And the same money you got now is little. Then they say next month you pay. When you take it on now, you pay. Where are you going to now? What are you going to buy for business? You already feel this something here. There are so many women who want to go to this. To go in politics. We can talk.
Yeah.
Once you get talk, you can be in politics. Yes. But who would look at my woman and say, oh, you ought to represent somebody? Okay, money said for you to go and run campaign, you don't have it. They fetish shoes you're supposed to wear to get outside there. They say, look how I was shooting your foot. They will start describing from your foot to your toe. Yeah. So we want to say this to our sisters that are born in the States that are well advanced. You have to remember market women. Our market women, we are committed. If we are not committed, we wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, pay for go water and go to school. They say long place for the children to go to school. Some of us we want our children to go to school. We are saying to be grandchildren first. Because we want our children to be educated. There are so many challenges that we went through. But what I want to say is, I'm so happy for this program. At least let our voices be heard and not think on us. And the marketeers that you see today, some of them graduated from table to shop. But it's not easy. You graduate from the table now, you get to shop. But they dare not swallow you. You did the shop, you run away. Go there, that may push. These are problems that face. As the saying goes, when you educate a woman, you educate them no vision. When you educate a man, you educate a family. That's how this happens.
In the fabric of time, through shadow woven, women merge their spirits unbroken, facing storms that hurt and jeered, with courage that casts our fear. Chains of doubt, wells of deceit, heavy loads on weary feet. Yet with each step, the ground, turning silence into sound. They rise, though bound by history dread, dreams of freedom in their stead, breaking barriers, crossing lines in their hearts, hope entwined. From whispered prayers in the dead of night to bold strides in the morning light, women forge and fight and strive the unyielding action of life. I want to take this time to recognize those who have contributed, supported this event, to have all of us gathered today. We have the International Bank of Liberia Limited, we have Loyalty Capital, DOC Africa, Trust Brokerage, and Home Concept. Those are some of our sponsors that help to have this program situated as it is. So that's just, and I just want to recognize a few dignitaries in our midst, people from, I think, both branch of government, the executive and the legislature, and also, I think, the judiciary as well. So we're happy to have the full house here with us. At this time, we will move forward. We will invite one of the finest minds in the country, one whose voice has echoed through the corridor of history in our modern dispensation. Her voice, her words, her elocutionary skills have yielded elocutionary results. At this moment, please let us welcome Miss Emily Joyce Willen, who will give us a word or spoken words to inspire us as we turn forward.
Thank you very much. Good morning, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. I am elated to stand before you to share the speech titled, The Strength of Liberian Women. Thank you. In the hearts of Liberia, where the echoes of history whisper stories of struggle, women rise, carriers of resilience, hope, and architects of change. From the shadows of conflict they emerge, bearing the scars of war, the weight of lust, yet their spirits remain unbroken, a testament to their strength. They fought, not just for survival, but for a seat at the table, for the right for their voices to be heard, for their voices to resonate around generations. Their journey has not been easy. In a world that often silences their dreams, they have faced the shackles of traditions, the barriers of inequalities and shadows of violence, but through it all, they have ignited a flame, a fire that refused to be extinguished. Women of Liberia, who have turned your struggles into strength, you've turned your pain into purpose. You are leaders. From markets to parliament, you are entrepreneurs, you are educators. Building bridges where there were none, planting seeds of change in fertile soil. You have demonstrated that when women are empowered, they become catalysts for growth. Unlocking doors to possibilities, unleashing talent and potential. You can elevate the entire nation. So imagine a Liberia where women's voices shape policies, where their dreams are woven into the fabric of our society, breaking the cycle of poverty and prejudice and healing the wounds of their past. So today, we honor the women of Liberia, the mothers of peace, advocates of change, touch bearers of hope. Let us stand beside them, amplifying their voices, supporting their dreams, and acknowledging that when we empower women, we empower a whole nation. Together we rise, together we strive, acknowledging that the heart of Liberia was
gift. What a blessing. I hold the master sheep, so I will make some adjustment. So allow me at this time to bring back our brain and funder and one who have organized this event, and our host, Ms. Cassandra L. Houghton, who will launch or do the presentation of the Horizon Initiative. So please let us welcome again our host.
Thank you. All protocol observed, since this is the second time I'm back in this podium. One of the major reasons we're here today is to launch an incredible initiative, and it's named Horizon. So let me just present these few words to you on why we want to do this, why we need the support of all of you here, online, in Liberia, in the diaspora, and wherever she finds herself. As we celebrate this day, let us reflect on all of our heroes who has and continue to impact the world in unique ways, creating an enabling environment and future we can thrive. It is with optimism that we endeavor the courage to seek the change we need, the change we hope for, the future and generations to come. Under our theme, Bridging the Gap of Social Dependency to Sustainable Development, we are called to confront a reality that touches millions. That too many women, despite their strength, resilience, and creativity, remain trapped in circles of dependency, socially, financially, and structurally. We see them every day. We've listened to some of them right here. The stories are real. They are unique. The market woman who wakes up at 4 a.m. with a child on her back and hope in her eyes. The single mother who sells fruits in the sun to pay school fees. The young girl with a dream to start her own tailoring shop, but no access to mentorship, training, or finance. These women are not lazy. They are not helpless. They are not waiting for handouts. They are only waiting for the right opportunity. And that is why today marks a turning point. With deep pride and a reverent commitment, I stand before you to officially launch the Horizon Initiative. An intentional, purpose-driven platform led by Golden Touch Corporation, created to uplift and empower women entrepreneurs, particularly those in the informal sector. Horizon, a promise that she will rise. A promise that a woman who has been overlooked will be seen. That a woman who has been underestimated will be supported. And that the woman who has been stuck in survival mode will step into a season of sustainability, dignity, and success. This initiative is born from the belief that when you empower a woman, you don't just change her story, you change the trajectory of her family, her community, and her nation. We've designed our rise around 3 core phases, each one building upon the other, each one rooted in the real needs of Liberian women. Let me show you through quickly. Phase 1, the data collection phase. Before we build, we must listen. We are engaging market women, traders, and informal entrepreneurs to gather accurate data about the challenges, their hopes, and their visions. We believe in evidence-based transformation because no woman should be treated like a number of people. She matters. Phase 2, capacity building. We'll equip women with skills, confidence, leadership, and knowledge. Through tailored training, mentorship, peer learning, and business development workshops, we aim to help women run businesses and build legacies. Phase 3, the access to finance. And I know that may be a challenge, but we're going to try our best. We'll be out there knocking doors with the government, the House, the Parliament, the Central Bank, big corporations, to see how we can all make this work. We know that access to capital is one of the greatest obstacles facing women in business. You heard that. Through strategic partnerships, we will work to bridge this gap. Connecting women with microloans, grant opportunities, savings schemes, and innovative financing options that meet them where they are. This journey is not something we can walk alone. We are calling on the government to prioritize inclusive policies that create real opportunities for women in business. Not for our colleagues, not for our friends or family members, but people who actually deserve it and is pushing to rise. We also call on international partners and donors. Unfortunately, we don't have a representative here present today. We want them to invest in projects in the lives of women who are ready to rise. The private sector, to open doors, mentor and collaborate with women-led ventures. Civil society, to amplify the voices of women who have been silent for too long. And you, everyone in this room, and beyond, believe, support, and act. Let us no longer treat women's empowerment as a slogan for 1 month in March. Every year we celebrate Women's Day, International Women's Day, March 8th, and it becomes the slogan, the celebrate action this year. Next year, the other year. But let's make this, let's treat this, not as a slogan, but something that will transform into action that is sustainable and that impacts the lives of us. Let it be the heartbeat of every development agenda. Let it be a budget line, a boardroom priority, a political commitment, and a shared vision. Because when she rises, you know, we all rise. So everyone listening, your joining matters. Your dreams are valid. And your rise is necessary. Join hands with us. Join hands with Women Touch. We're just a small company, a women-led business. Join hands with us and let us build our lives together. If you believe in this vision, this is your time. This is your season, and this is your arise. Let us accelerate action together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Liberia is on the rise. The government leading, right? We are getting better. Like I told you guys, I hold a master copy, and so I will do some alteration. We supposed to at this moment welcome the honored guest. And I happen to be a representation of the honored guest today. So we have two honored guests. One will be Kanga, and the second or the first is the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, and I happen to be the senior advisor to the First Lady of the Republic of Liberia. So given my role, I will suspend this moment and invite another guest so that we can hasten the program and get to the meat of the program that we all gathered here for, especially the discussion. I am a Baptist preacher. I'm Reverend Dr. Adam M. Kine. And so in the Baptist church, before we invite the guest speaker, the one who speaks, we usually spice it up a little bit, but we don't have some spicer here. And the person who speaks is also, the person who comes to speak is also a Baptist. And so I want to be a little Baptistic, if you will. So please allow me before, usually in the Baptist church they'll say before the sermon, before the preached word, there will be a sermonic song. And so I am privileged as well to have my son, one of my sons, Joshua. I know he's an apron to you, but we will have you to just do a little short spoken word, and after which we will call on my good old friend who and I graduated together, Elena Smith, who will introduce our keynote speaker for today after again the spoken word. Like I said, we have to make it a little Baptistic. So I will call on my young mentee, Joshua Smith, who will give a little word, and after which we introduce the keynote speaker, someone I cannot introduce. So I have to call someone very special to introduce her. So after the spoken word, Elena Smith will introduce our keynote speaker, and then after which our keynote speaker will speak to us, and then after which we will go into the next phase of the program. So ladies and gentlemen, my mentee, Joshua Smith.
Well, thank you so very much, Dr. Adam Khan. Well, I'm Joshua T.G. Smith, preferably called Ted Smith. So this is no good call up. It's more like an ambush, I would say. For, like you said, it is impromptu. And you know, the thing with poetry is the performers have to rehearse and prepare for their audience. But however, he said I'm talented. I'll try to live up to that. So I think I'll rather take a rapid rhyme because I'm many things also. I'm also the card holder of Liberia National Inter-University Debate Championship, Public Speaking Championship. So I'm the champion for public speaking for the Inter-University in Liberia. So now, what I would do is to deliver an impromptu speech on the essence and impact of uplifting women in our society, rather than delivering a poetry performance. Do I have your permission? Good. Very short. I'll make it short. So now, we live in a world where women are very quintessential to our existence. In our world today, for long, in the ancient days, the roles of women were limited to the kitchen and to the bedrooms. Fast forward to now, they have proven to us that they can be much more than just reproductive humans. They can be much more than just chefs. But matter of fact, they're still cooking. In whatever space you put them, they will cook. So, men, on the other hand, have a responsibility. Our responsibility, I believe, is to create an environment for these women to thrive. I've listened to all of the previous speakers on this podium, and there is one thing that they have emphasized. That one thing is how bright females shine once you provide them an opportunity. I mean, we can take a whole symposium talking about the strength, resilience, and power of women. But believe me, the dictionary has not given us sufficient words to talk about how powerful you are. The dictionary has never done us justice to provide us adjectives to describe how beautiful you all are. It has never done us this justice to talk about how much you truly are and how much you contribute to this earth we all live on. So as we go forward, I'll remind you that your obstacles will not go away. Your obstacles, they will not disappear. So you must remember to always shine your lights as women. There will still be stereotypes. What we will do, what this society will do, is to try to limit those stereotypes, is to try to reduce those stereotypes that plague and hinder your growth, your opportunity to shine. However, please disobey. Please be disrespectful to everything that tells you you can't. Please. You know, a lot of times, society tells you that you are soft. Please tell them they are lying. Please let them know that you are hard enough to not give up on your dreams. Let them know that you are hard enough to not take and accept those things that you hear. Please challenge perspectives. For long, I tell my friends, they believe that women are softer than men. We believe that females are compassionate, but compassion is nothing soft. It is not characteristic to that we call soft. Compassion is the strongest thing an individual can have within his heart or her heart, because it is compassion that makes us forgive those who have placed us at the bottom. We deserve to be at the apex of whatever cycle it is. And as we struggle our ways to the apex, I encourage you to never look down. When you are on the bicycle, you want to pedal forward. Continue to pedal forward, dear ladies.
We usually take this time to promote young people when we have these kind of events. These are the inspiring leaders, emerging leaders. So I always, when I have the opportunity, I usually bring them up so that we can showcase them. So that was again an input too. So at this moment, my good old friend, who we both shared experience, formative years, will come at this moment to introduce our keynote speaker for the event. Elena Smith.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be a part of this initiative, and thanks to the CEO for that very fascinating thing that she chose, All Rise. And every time I look at the word All Rise, it does something to me. But I'm here today to introduce our keynote speaker. Our honorable keynote speaker is a seasoned professional with expertise in economics, policy analysis, and financial management. Renowned for her leadership, communication, and analytical skills, she flourishes in competitive environments, using her ability skills to deliver impactful results. Her self-motivated collaborative leader, she is committed
to fostering sustainable development and driving inclusive growth in Liberia. Her academic background includes graduate studies in finance and banking, a Bachelor of Science in Economics, and a diploma in secretarial science. She has further enhanced her expertise with a professional certificate in gender responsive economic policy management from the United Nations African Institute for Economic Development and Planning, IDEP for short. She serves as Minister of Commerce and Industry, Republic of Liberia. With extensive experience in both public and private sectors, Madam Dagose has held roles such as Assistant Minister for Planning and Administration, Executive Director of the Liberia Community Development Foundation, a board member of the Liberia Civil Aviation Authority, and her leadership extends to private enterprises where she serves as CEO of Hair Image. Throughout her career, she has demonstrated proficiency in policy management, institutional governance, and organizational leadership. Honorable Dagose aspires to leverage her wealth of experience to drive economic growth, to promote innovation, and to champion sustainable development, solidifying her role as a key contributor to Liberia's growth. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker, Madam Dagose.
Judge Leo Mappin-Morgan, Chief Judge of the Commercial Court of Liberia, Government Officials, members of the diplomatic circle, distinguished guests, women leaders, entrepreneurs, family and friends, members of the Foreign of the State, the family of the Golden Touch Corporation, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Good morning. So being too formal, as everybody just. Yes. Good morning. Good morning. It is an honor to stand before you here today as we celebrate International Women's Day, a day to recognize the strength and courage and invaluable contributions of women worldwide. This year's theme, bridging the gap of social dependency to sustainable development, reminds us that we must build a country and an economy where women and girls have equal opportunities to strive and are no longer held back by barriers. Women's role in economic development is paramount, both in Liberia and globally. We have witnessed women break barriers, grow opportunities and businesses, and develop industries. However, despite the process, many women still face financial exclusion and lack access to essential resources, limiting their full participation in decision-making processes. This is why we must address these issues today, and I mean today, and take swift and decisive actions. As the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, my team and I are fully committed to empowering women and youth entrepreneurs. We believe that free and private enterprises are key to empowering our people. We are actively working to provide the necessary support for women and young people to succeed and flourish. We understand the vital role of our ministry plays in supporting women and youth entrepreneurs. Through the creation of policies and programs designed to foster economic growth and empowerment, we aim to create a more inclusive economy. Initiatives such as business development services, training programs, and access to financial resources encourage the participation of women and youth in the entrepreneurial sector. These efforts are critical and also crucial in overcoming barriers such as limited access to capital. We're in touch today. We have come to say to you, we are in this together, and we will support you at all levels. These efforts are critical and incoming barriers such as limited access to capital, business network, technical skills allowing these groups to strive in the competition as the business world goes on. Moreover, we work closely with both local and international partners to promote entrepreneurship among women and youth, providing them with capacity building, mentorship, and networking opportunities. By prioritizing inclusive economic policies, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry is helping to shift a more diverse entrepreneur ecosystem in Liberia. These efforts are not only vital for the economic empowerment of women and youth, but also for the broader growth of our nation economy. Let me take this moment to highlight two key projects currently supporting women and youth entrepreneurs in Liberia. The Liberia Investment, Finance and Trade Project, which is LIFT, with support from the World Bank. This project, managed by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, is helping women and youth gain access to finance, training, and mentorship. Through LIFT, we are enabling women entrepreneurs to build successful businesses that create jobs and contribute to Liberian economic development. The Youth Entrepreneur Investment Bank Project, which is GIT, in collaboration with the African Development Bank. This project is providing young entrepreneurs with funding, mentorship, and market opportunities they need to grow and scale their businesses. These projects are a vital investment in Liberia's future. They underscore our government commitment to reducing dependency and empowering our citizens, especially women and youth, to become self-sufficient. These projects help and has helped a lot of our young women, girls, and boys as it relates to transforming their lives and bringing them forth at the forefront. Today marks an important milestone in the journey as we celebrate the launch of the Horizon Initiative. This initiative is not just another program, it is call to action and a testament to our unwavering dedication to uplifting women entrepreneurs. The Horizon Initiative is designed to provide women with the tools, mentorship, and network they need to succeed and lead in their respective industries. To the young girls in this room and the women who are present here today, I'd like to remind you, you are leaders in your own rights. You are bigger than what people think you are. Do not wait for permission to rise. You must rise now. Now is the time. The future is yours to shape. Believe in your dreams. And I'd like to quote our former president, Mrs. Ellen Johnson. Our dreams should not be limited. Today, as we witness the launch of the Horizon Initiative, we recommend the bold steps being taken to supporting inspiring women entrepreneurs. This initiative is not just a day talk or a week talk or a month talk. It is an everyday talk. And I'd like to borrow from the CEO who have said earlier, where are we as women of Liberia? When do we come together as women of Liberia? What are the challenges we face as women of Liberia? How can we change those challenges into opportunities as women of Liberia? Today we have found ourselves, all of us here. We must speak with a voice, one message, and then we move forward to bringing transformation to our country, Liberia. In conclusion, I leave with you these thoughts. Let us work to turn our dreams into reality. The future of Liberia depends on the commitment and support of all Liberians, especially the women, who will lead us towards progress and prosperity. Together, we can build this country. Together, we can transform our women. Together, we can transform the youth. Together, we can move Liberia from wherever it is right now to wherever we want it. And I'd like to say to all of us here today, let us stand firm. Let us stand firm and be serious about what we say. She talked about a budget line. We do have many in the legislature, but we do not have many as we think we have. But as we support each other to move forward, as we support each other in whatever we do, we might have or will have more women to speak on our behalf. Today, I have come to say to all of us here today, as women of Liberia, whenever we gather March 8th up to March 22nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever. Why are we just meeting March 8th? How many women join us March 8th? We must include every woman at all levels, all sectors. Wherever we find ourselves, we must be able to locate them, find them. Today, I'm standing here today and I'm looking. We are talking about barriers. I'm looking. I don't see the Muslim women. And they are the main ones who call them have bound them. Have bound them so much that they are tired. So they are right here. Where are they? We must go out there and find them. We must find them. And I need to divert a little bit. I don't want to be too formal, but I must divert a little bit. And I need to say to you when we were at the Ministry of Gender, we thought that International Women's Day was just being too formal. So we sat one day and we said, there's a need to have everybody on board. So we thought that we write all of the ministries, agencies, and corporations, including the LFA, traditional women, the rural women, and just name them. And we sat in that room and we were asked, why do you think so? I said, because this is women business. We are talking about women right now. Whether you went to school or didn't go to school, you are a woman. Whether you have degrees or you don't have, or you have property, you have money, you are a woman. And we all sit there today are aware access to finance. How do we get involved into all of these activities? The other day spoke about it. She talked about those challenges, those barriers. She talked about the bank. When you go to the bank, as they have always said to us, if you wanted a loan of $1,000, they are not going to tell you no. They're going to say yes. But the interest is there, and the talking. Somebody talk about talking fee. I want time to be talking fees. Somebody will talk for you, and you have to pay that one. And the person is going to push the budget, you have to pay that one. And if the student is going to steal the law or do whatever, you have to pay. So that $1,000 has come down to maybe $700. And then she can pay. Then the interest is added. So how do we expect her to pay? So for some reasons, like a better word, they say they run away. They relocate. And you can't find them. So we stay here today to support each other. Let us support each other with sincerity, commitment. And I say to you, Golden Touch Corporation, we are here for you. we will stand with you and we will walk by you. And we all will achieve exactly what we want. The time is now. The time is now. Now it's time to take action. We can't continue to just read and read and read. We need action. We can't continue to just read. And I want to say to you here today, go in touch. Please, don't wait for another International Women's Day before you can call us. Because we are available. We will be available. We will make space for you. We come to say to you today, depend on us as we also will depend on you. It's time to be serious, it's time to move, and it's time for action. Action is what we are looking forward for. So all of us here, please, let us see how we can help one another in whatever way we can. There are a lot of opportunities out there. But how do we get there? Every time we read, we talk about challenges. Yes, there are challenges. But how can we move those challenges into opportunities? And they are there. And the only way we can do that is by growing together, speaking with one voice, having one action, and moving forward. So I say to all of us here today, now is the time. Tomorrow or later might be too late. Now is the time. Thank you so kindly.
I think you can do better than that. I will be, George Moppet. I will be making recommendation. Judge Moppet. I will be making recommendations so the deacon can at least be on essential now. Well, let me do a little teaser before we get straight to the big part. There's a riddle I want someone to answer. I think Golden Touch Corporation might step in the person, the smart. I don't want to say the smartest person, but there's a riddle that says, I am not alive, yet I grow. Let me say it again. I am not alive. I need an answer, so I'm saying that to you guys. I am not alive, yet I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, and yet water kills me. What am I? Let me say it again. I am not alive. So don't say I am not alive, yet I grow. I do not have lungs, but I need air. I do not have a mouth, and yet water kills me. What am I? Fire. Good. Who's that fire? And water can extinguish it. So the answer correct is fire. At this time, we will get into I think we're smelling the food already, right? So, you know, I'm a Baptist, I like eating. So, we like kind of event, we don't go out without eating. So, again, we will enter into the part of discussion, and we will go for the first one, and after which I think we will transition. So, at this time, I will call on the moderator who will take over. The moderator for the first session, Taliban. She's very and has the expertise to lead us through the next session. So it is my singular honor now to submit to you our moderator, Betty J. Samola. Would you please welcome?
Oh, wow. And I'm applauding. We are celebrating women. Put your hands together.
interact, to learn, to give our contributions and our experiences on this great topic, bridging the gap of social dependency to sustainable development. But this first session, our topic of discussion will be from vision. So I don't want to take much of your time. It is a great honor to present our first panelist, a legal reformer who is highly respected for her integrity, a legal scholar with profound commitment to justice and institutional reform. I told you before. She served as the first president or resident judge of the newly established Commercial Court of Liberia in 2010. Distinguished platform guests, gentlemen, please put your hands together for Honorable Eva Martin Morgan, our first panelist, President, Chief Justice, Commercial Court of Liberia. Thank you. Thank you very much. And our second panelist is a chairwoman of the Capital Group. She is the general manager of the United Commodities Incorporated, while providing her expertise on many financial boards. She is a great woman. She is an inspiring woman. Please put your hands together for Mrs. Jonah Jeanette Kofa. Wow. As we move forward, our third panelist is a public sector an administrator, an educator, she is also a social worker and a theologian. I told you we put our hands together for this family. Our third panelist is the Deputy Executive Director for Administration at the National Convention on Higher Education. Put your hands together for Honorable Morgan Field. Thank you. Two of our panelists were not able to make it today due to their busy schedules, but the business of the woman must go on.
after this. So.
Yeah, thank you.
We need some housekeeping on the mic.
Testing one. Testing 1, 2.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome you to our panel discussion on our topic. From vision to venture, dare to become. What's your take on this topic as it has to do with women on this Women's Day?
So because I'm a professor also, I always have a prepared script for my knowledge. But the theme from vision to venture, dare to become, that in itself is so amazing that you dare. And you know, women are like, I dare you, correct? I dare you. I dare you. I can do this. But before I answer that, let me quote from another young woman who is, she's called Dr. V. Kativu. She's a youth engagement advisor at the UNICEF. And she says this: understanding your why is crucial. If you are aimlessly following others' expectations without passion for your path, you will quickly lose momentum. You will quickly lose momentum. True motivation comes from a deep personal interest. I think as every woman here knows, like love for a subject that keeps you going even in challenging times. So here I say that in this country we call our beloved Liberia, we can create an enabling environment for businesses, for startups. Some of our key challenges, of course, are our level of literacy. So even as I came in today and I saw this thing that says "Scan Me," I wrote a little thing on it and I said, if we're bridging the gap, how does my grandmother, who's professional, proficient, and successful, understands this? How do we bridge the gap with that? What do we do to include a woman like our LMA who talked about, even though they're not educated, even though they're not whatever it is, they don't have all of these degrees like the Minister of Commerce said, but how do we bridge that gap to include each and every woman who has something to say? Each and every woman, yes, everybody. So with our less educated people, we need to pull them in. The Commerce Minister was here, Maggie, and she talked about even Muslim women who are perhaps culturally maybe kind of beat down in a way. I don't mean it in any way, but just to explain that. How do we bring them in? And these are very smart women. Very smart women. So we need to bring everybody in. We need to foster collaboration with those of us who are here and those of us who are in the diaspora. These are also women who want to come home. We also need to shift from some sort of aid dependence. And I heard, I think she's from Nigeria, but she's giving this very passionate thing on the internet. And she's just saying that
to some extent, she is so glad that USAID has been pulled out, because it's time that African leaders, get up, rise up, and know what they have. So we're not aid dependent. We're looking at our resources. We're using our resources to empower women to bridge this divide. And I know some of us are radicals here, because I know I am. When I was at the University of Liberia, we were the Zekwe people, Zekwe. So So when you look at the young man, the young 34-year-old in Burkina Faso, I mean, I'm inspired. Paying off his debt to the IMF. I'm passing it on.
Thank you. Put your hands together. One for applause. Thank you so much. Mrs. Cooper.
I was about to say, following that, I believe your original question was vision to venture, correct?
From vision to venture, dare to become.
I sit here today, a very young Liberian woman. I'm 27 years old. After doing school in the States, I always had a dream to move back home to Liberia. That was my vision. I was going to move back home to Liberia. I was going to transform my home country. I was going to, be a formidable woman, which I am today. So I think I'm kind of the embodiment of vision to venture, because moving from the States and what I know in the States to moving to Liberia and trying to do business here was extremely difficult, I cannot lie. My husband likes to say Liberia is an upside down tree. Because it absolutely is. There's so many struggles here. There's so many things that you wouldn't necessarily experience in somewhere like the States. I've had a lot of challenges moving back here. I've had a lot of disappointments. But even in that, who I am and what I see for myself and what I saw for myself, I've still been able to venture into every single thing I said I was going to do. I'm still expanding, I'm still learning. One thing I will absolutely say is, for all the women in this room, and especially to the men, because men are at, we'll say the men in the room are the apex predators. Yes, nobody is really above them. Us women have to have the support of men oftentimes to get to where we need to be. I'm lucky to have a father like Fanati Koko, who was here earlier. He believed in me. I honestly wouldn't be in this position today if he didn't say, I know my daughter, and she's extremely intelligent. Wow. So I'm going to give her these reins. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. I'm going to give her these reins. I'm going to give her these reins to be the formidable woman that she knows that she will be. And I was about to say, well, and being the daughter of Dominic Kopa, she has been such a formidable woman. Even though in this society, I think like we're so beat down. We're so beat down. How I saw women being treated over here when I first came over here, it scared me. It made me apprehensive. Because I was like, these are not things I would experience. I haven't experienced where I lived most of my life. Why are women not listened to? Why are women not heard? Why are women not even regarded? As the general manager of UCI, I often find myself in rooms with only men and only Lebanese men in Liberia as the head boss. So sometimes when I walk into the room, they think I'm somebody's assistant, and I have to say, no, I'm actually the general manager of UCI. And then they're shocked, because not only am I a woman, I'm a Liberian woman. And I think there's so much power. There's so much power in being able to sit in rooms with people who would think lesser of you otherwise. So I say all of this to say, women,
dare to dream, dare to take the reins, dare to stand in your confidence. And the men in here, dare to because they were absolutely right when they said earlier, when you educate a woman, you educate the whole nation. You multiply it. You give us a house, we'll make it a home.
Please let me say that in this very public manner, that I'm so proud of this young lady. I saw her at Mom 26. Everybody
here, and I don't know whether I'm the only person in this building. It is very cold. I literally to put my hands in the hot water because I felt that I was not feeding myself any longer, but at least I'm not alone. There are others in the room. Okay, so let me give my own take on the topic. From vision to venture, dare to become. So as the Honorable Judge was speaking, I would say the pastor in me was engaged in a conversation, and I would write how the conversation venture start, and then he called his angels and said, let us, and the three of them came an idea. It is on that idea we are here today. No vision without a venture. It must start with an idea, no matter how later it may be. For you to see something tangible, you must first think about it. And also, the journey from vision to venture is one of boldness, is one of resilience, is one of transformative growth. You must, and that because the world is changing, and we all must fit in. Sometimes it's not about a very new, but it may just be something that's already existing. But how do you take it from what you've known it to be here, especially as a small business coming up? There will be obstacles. Other people might have already ventured in that field. How to rise above? It takes courage. Many times people do not reach their full potential. Fear of the unknown. What will happen if I were to step out of my comfort zone? What will people say? But the thing is, like, what is it, Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the boat, who consider as failures, I didn't see that as failure. For me, I saw them as many ways to do something. So if we all just sit back and say, I'm afraid of what people will say, I'm afraid of what people will think, I'm afraid of falling, we will not have anything, will not go anywhere. Because failure will always be there it will always be there. But we have to see failure as opportunity to get to where we want to get. And we are talking about taking it from your head to the reality, to something tangible. We have to be courageous. If I know others have done it, I too can make it. If they were able to succeed, I too, because it did not just for us to be in this beautiful space today, it did not happen overnight. I want to believe the owner of this facility, it took nights. You write, you cancel, you write, you cancel, you write, you cancel, you take one step, you go back many steps, you take one step, you go back many steps, but they were determined. So for it to become, like I say, I'm saying a venture, we have to be brave, we have to be bold to take the first step, and even if we were to fall,
you will wake up again. So that's one take on the topic. From vision to venture, dare to become, don't let it stay in the head. Many of us, I put myself in it, many of us, we have dreams, but they're still in the head. People want to, they are still focused somewhere. They are not become what they ventures yet because of lack of courage. But we see other people going ahead and we are like, I can do it too. But just simple thing, fear. I don't want to be considered a failure. That's why we are still sitting. And other people, they are just small thoughts and they are moving. And today, they are somewhere. And another thing before stepping into the unknown. I really don't want to take off, for an example, the owner of Providence TV, Flower Park. It was just Providence TV online. She moved into flowers. She was here, I don't know that. But she ventured into that. Today, Flower Park is a big thing. The next one was from a family where they have never ventured in that field, and now I'm going to get into day by graveyard. So she was saying, it's not something I'm used to. But she looked at it, what would be there? Look around us in the graveyards today, you don't want to bury yourself by the center street. Because you know, at the end of the day, you turn your back, something else will happen. So she thought about it and said, I think I can meet a need when it comes to that. Though it was a strange endeavor, but she ventured into it, she thought about it, she processed it, and today, it's no longer a distance. People are taking not about how much they're going to charge, but people are going there because they want to give their family members befitting burial. So sometimes fear of the unknown can also step. I almost say in Jesus' name.
Thank you. So we have some questions for our panelists, and then after that, we'll go back to the comments and the highlights of the comments. Josh Mappe.
And I'm keeping the time, so please be as expeditious.
Okay, we have a timekeeper.
So at least time. Yeah, at least.
Okay, our first question is: how can Liberia assist in creating a more enabling environment that will assist startups and small businesses to strive in our country's economy?
First, let me give a shout out to the cemetery business. Apparently, it's a new business to go into, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. It's a new business. But I think the way we assist startups, there is a critical question on access to finance. I see the Weaver man looking at me. Critical situation on access to finance. It's difficult to navigate the financial arena in this country. You heard the president of the Marketing Association talk about going to the banks, trying to get money. Somebody else is talking for you. The interest is compounded, the default fees, the default charges, and I see the back end of that. So I think microfinancing, some guys started in India a long time ago, and it just took off. It's another way to support small businesses. Agriculture is one of our sectors that is growing, and women are very good in that area. We have a lot of startups with women making that. You know, honey took first place, I think, on the world market also. So the way to do that It's so.
I told you, but
You know, the way to do that again, I was at another investment conference and they were talking about something called POS in the marketplace, expanding mobile banking. Everyone is doing mobile banking online now. So you don't have to go to the bank. But what we have to understand is that everyone who does only educated. We have to take that into consideration. So how do we get our other women who are not necessarily formally educated but very brilliant in what they do? As I heard another story at the investment conference. This young lady was buying palm oil in Cape Mount, and today she's shipping containers of palm oil. And the investor said that if you wrote her name, let's say like Women's, she doesn't even know that it's her name on the board. But she's efficient, she's productive, she was able to get some microfinancing through the Central Bank of Liberia. So I think these are the things we need to look at. How do we start up? In fact, one of the bankers said on that panel that they don't do startups. By the time you come to them, they want to know that you are an established business, you have your market plan, you have all of these things. And so if you don't do startups, where do startups go to get financing? And this is where LIBA, I think LIBA comes in too, to just help educate some of these women on accessing finance, not necessarily formal, because we have both the formal and the informal system, and that's what the SUSU is all about. So you can build around that SUSU concept. I think they call it cluster banking, or so, as I was listening to some of the bankers. Build around that SUSU concept where all of these women are in the SUSU, and you can use the SUSU money to finance the business, but at the same time, they cover each other, so like insurance, no one person is bearing the risk, but everyone is putting the money in the pot. So expanding mobile money, reducing, I don't know if the LRA is here, reducing some of the imports, duties on these things that come in, or even when women try to export, reducing some of the fees on all those things, it really helps. So we have whatever women are venturing in, we have to prioritize these sectors, expand the microfinance base, and just allow women to access. We've all said, if you educate a woman, you educate the entire country. You heard the LFA director say, where do we get our minimums? I mean, the president is eating, where does he get it from the marketplace? So we have to understand that everyone is a part of the growth of a country. And if everyone is going to participate in the growth of the country, the sectors, finances, everything has to be available to everyone at the level that they understand.
Thank you so much. Access to finance, reduction of interest rates and fees. She also talks about microfinance for small businesses and venturing into agriculture activities, and to have point of sales, the POS. Encourage the women to be part of the mobile banking system. Education is key. You don't have to be educated formally, but through trainings and capacity building. That is key. And she also talked about the SUSU concepts, cooperatives, where people come together, women come together, put resources together, to be able to make impact and to be productive. And the LRA needs to look at that also to reduce it, especially for women entrepreneurs. So let's say thank you very much for that question. And we'll go down to our entrepreneur in the house. This is Kula. My question to you is, what are the most promising industries for growth? And how can entrepreneurs and Liberians from the diaspora contribute to the country's economic transition? How can entrepreneurs from the diaspora contribute to the country's economic transformation?
Okay, as a sustainable development major, I will always say that development first and foremost comes from food security. That's something that people don't often look at when they look at sustainability. But that was one of my major topics in my major, food security. People have to be able to be satiated and be able to be fed in the first place before they're able to. My brain is, a little on the fritz. But if you think about it, having food security, knowing that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to have something to eat. If I'm working all day in the field, I know that I'm going home to dinner, or whatever the case may be. With that being said, I think that it was so beautiful that she even came in today, because that is one sector that I think that people don't look too much. First and foremost, I think that we really need to look into the sector of marketing, because when you look at a developed nation, you might not see things like markets all around, or tailor shops, or carpenters. You'll see a Home Depot where you can already go get stuff made. You can already go and purchase whatever food you want. You can go to the supermarket, a whole meal is already made for you. But in Liberia, our strength is our raw materials. I will always say that. Our raw materials, what we can make out of what we have. That is first and foremost extremely, extremely important. We have the ability to support our own country here. One thing working at UCI for the last 4 years that I always question is, how is Liberia's staple food rice? And we are importing rice. I'm the general manager. I get paid from importing rice, so I can't speak down on it, but I honestly think about those things. Why instead of investing in rice farms in Liberia, we're taking rice from India and we're shipping it here? Why is that the case? Why are we shipping frozen fish and chicken and meat into Liberia? Why are we shipping frozen fish when I can walk not less than 1 mile to the Atlantic Ocean? It does not make sense. And that's why I always say food security, first and foremost. If we could get our food security together, Liberia could go anywhere. We have to eat. We eat every single day. We eat every single day. Think about all the things that get imported, that you're eating, that are imported. The food that we eat here, some of it will be imported food. When we have farms, our strength is literally our land, our raw materials. We have it all in Liberia. Everything that we need is already here. And we're always looking to the outside. We're always looking to the outside. But at the end of the day, I will repeat Liberia right now. Because we have it all. We have the fish. We have the land to have the cows and the chickens and the eggs. Why are we importing eggs? We import eggs. We import eggs. Some of the eggs we eat in the market are eggs that are imported. Why? Our food security will be the most, in a few years, honestly, if you look at it, if we start investing in the market women, we start investing in our farms, we start investing in the agricultural business, that is going to be the most booming and profitable business in Liberia, I believe.
Correct. Thank you so much, Mrs. Cooper. After Honorable Duo's answer to our questions, then we will open it. Just 5 minutes for questions, please. After her question. Okay, after her question, then she will make her statement, please. Honorable Duo. My question to you is, how can education and vocational training amongst our youth and college students play a role in preparing the next generation for sustainable development? Do you want me to repeat that? The teacher you is okay to do it. Okay, I said, how can education and vocational training amongst our youth and college students play a role in preparing the next generation for sustainable development?
Okay, to answer the question, first thing, like the judge still was asked opening that we will take note to remember something. So we start from there. When the youth and college students represent the future of any economy. That's the first thing we do. Okay? And the ability to transition from merely seeking employment to becoming job creators is essential for achieving long-term sustainable development. And so the question is, how can education and vocational training among our young students play an important role?
Education and vocational training
are important in equipping our young people with the skills, knowledge, and entrepreneurial mindset needed to drive economic innovation and create opportunities. So what we need to do first when it comes to that is we need to shift the mindset of the young people from being job seekers to job creators. Because all our young people around us, we are only looking for jobs. We are looking for jobs. But we have to start now our educational sector. Need to start working on curriculums. How do we train our young people that the time is coming, if it's not already here, when the job market will be scarce? You have to start working to create jobs. You have to start planning to be employers and not just employees. So that would mean we'll have to work on the curriculums. We need to bring entrepreneurial skills into our schools. Even in high school, I remember, I want to be still going on, at the College of West Africa, we had electives, and bookkeeping was one. So many of our colleagues who did that as elective, they did not wait to come out to get into college before they started doing bookkeeping. So in our high schools also, we need to start teaching our children how they can take, because even in high schools, our kids, they have ideas. They have vision. In my career, I started off at Briggs Institute. as a teacher, self-contained first grade. And before I got in first grade to start lecturing or teaching, my mindset was that the kids I'm going to teach, they don't know anything. They don't know. But my experience in the classroom changed. Because I asked questions, and it may not be at a level that I might understand, but the kids, they do have their own level. And from there, instead of just going at first grade, instead of just going to start teaching a family is this, I provide opportunity where they will be able to express what they already know. So I bring that in to say that even in high school, our kids already have an idea. They already see the challenges. They already know what are those areas that I think I might want to venture in. So now schools, we need to work on the curriculum, bring in entrepreneurship, ideas, skills that they need to know, so that by the time they get out, instead of running beyond somebody for jobs, and they can start working on how can I create one. And also, we can work with institutions where they can create that platform for them, carry on mentorship, capacity building. Schools can work on it like we are doing here today. Golden Touch Collaboration can partner with universities where you can carry this particular program there and have students come, and you have entrepreneurs come to share with them what they already know, the challenges in those areas. We need to do that. And once we can do that, we will see that our kids will not just be looking for jobs, but they themselves will be creating more.
Thank you. I can applause. So we heard Mrs. Kofa on her food security. That's Coca-Cola. And she believes in transformation. Liberian women can work towards food security. There's no need to import everything that we eat. We have the sea, we have the land, we have the natural resources that will give us the best nutrition. So it's her vision to see women going into agriculture, entrepreneurship, using what we have here to feed ourselves. Honorable Duo, preparing the next generation. She wants to see job creators. So we as women, what are we doing with our talents? Let us create jobs, not to be job seekers. And that's also for the youth. Because if we have the vision, we will venture and we will dare to become. So at this point, I would like to open the floor for a few questions. First, starting, can I get? Yes. Thank you very much. Please hold it. It's a word.
I'm so glad to be here.
We need to hear your voice today. Today's Women's Day.
I'm so glad to be here to hear them speak all women, especially Mrs. Tula, right? Yes. Okay. What she said about food and imports of food here in Liberia has been my concern for a few years. So within the last year, I was asked by a gentleman in California how he could come into Liberia to assist to change all of that Liberia does not.
They didn't want any funds from Liberia. They don't want to sign any bogus contract. take the minerals for themselves. They just wanted to help. I've been trying to get that through to the president for so long, and nobody's listening. They're not coming in to give Liberia a 20% cut. If that's what's holding Liberia, the whole thing back, then shame on us as a people. So, because of maybe cuts or whatever, Liberia will continue to suffer. It pains me. It hurts. Greed, corruption. What's going on? What's going on? Look at the people. The suffering is just too much. And we want to help. Call. Kima, what is it you're trying to do? Who can we speak to? We turn to this. I'm not going to call names, but it's like a dead end. You turn this way, it's a dead end. And as Liberian in the diaspora, with a Liberian that's leading this fight for the president's agriculture agenda, and not allowing Liberia to put a dime into that project, they will do it all. You would think that Liberia would be running. But yet, our people are buying these food, imported food, expired food. It pains me. Is this evil? This is not right. This is not God. It hurts. It hurts. When will this stop?
Thank you. Costs on investments. The climate is not favorable for investors. So those that are in authority that are here, you can meet her after the session and then have some discussion that will be fruitful to this event and also empower women, because when they bring farms, women will work on those farms. They'll be able to send their children to school. They'll be able to build their capacity. So thank you. Next person, please.
Just a comment to that. I don't know if you have gone other routes apart from the president's office, but we have the National Investment Commission in the House. So you can talk with Ms. Beatrice Russell. She's the controller at the National Investment Commission. The Commerce Ministry, the Deputy Director is here, Honorable Toro. So you can talk to him, and you can also ask for help with the Ministry of Agriculture to share what they just share with us, probably being able to help in the process, because that's investment, so you can talk to them.
Thank you. Next person.
Let's hear from the MIC.
Okay, we'll hear from the MIC if they have any comments.
Yeah, so I sat quietly to listen to comments, which are genuine, and as Honorable Dole said, if you have checked with other ministries and with the president, and you are not getting results, that the National Investment Commission is responsible to facilitate investment in every sector of the economy, and there are incentives given to those who have interest in investing. Some of the different experiences you have, we will be able to look into that now. Well, thank you so much. So after here, we can have some conversation about it. All right, thank you very much.
My name is Christiana Christopher, and I'm an entrepreneur. My question has to do with, I want to ask Madam Mabe Morgan specifically, what can we do as a Liberian to get our economy back into our hands? Because if you see right now how Liberia is running, basically Liberian economy runs by Lebanese, Nigerian, Fulani, that's a foreign national. So what is it we can do as young people and as Liberians to be able to get our economies back? For example, if you go to places like Nigeria, you'll see that banks are owned and run by Nigerians. You see car companies are owned and run by Nigerians. A lot of things, even the young women in many Nigeria, they are doing things for, if somebody even mentioned about POS, a lot of Liberia, we don't even know what POS is. So what can we do as a young people or as Liberians to be able to build our own economy and be able to manage our own economy as Liberians? Thank you.
All right, we're wrapping up.
So sometimes, let me stand a little bit. Sometimes you hear from the banking sector paying the debt. And I say to them, I challenge you on that front. It's a difficult thing, and maybe we need to be a little bit more innovative. Young people, you see this young woman here? There is a song I like to sing, but I'm not going to sing it now because the guy is in prison. Okay, I think it's R. Kelly. And we talk about from vision to venture. But he says, if you can see it, then you can do it. If you just believe it, there is nothing to it. So first we have to dream. And you heard the Minister of Commerce say, quoting Her Excellency, the Iron Lady, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. So for young people, what are you dreaming? What are you thinking about? What do you want to see? Do you see yourself as an entrepreneur? Do you see yourself as an employer rather than an employee? Are you studying the market landscape to see the kind of businesses you can grow, to see the kind of businesses you can develop? I know there are a couple of young people who are developing snail farming in Limba. I work with some young people in this state called, and they're developing, they're listening to business ideas. The young person who also came in with carrying this food around, they like to order food, I don't know. They put it on a bag and they carry it around.
LIB delivery.
LIB, okay, LIB. That's a young person. That's an idea they came up with. The one who's making the soap and the stuff for the hair. So what are you dreaming of? What are you dreaming of? What are you daring yourself to become? So when you dare, and then if you approach someone like a Cassandra to help you develop your business, you know, someone like this young lady that I knew in her mom's stomach, I'm telling you, you know, if you approach her, there's so many other young people. So the way we develop that is to first create that enabling environment. Microfinance, access to finance, limited interest. Oh my goodness, and the banks get upset with me because I think sometimes the interest is so high. So it seems like you're running away from your obligation. You're not. But in a way, the obligation has become so enormous. It's like, where do you start? So let me challenge you to dare to become. Let me challenge you to dream. And let me challenge you to look out for these resources. You're in this era now where they got something called AI or some kind of chat. Oh my goodness. Every time you put something in there, something spills out. You know, we used to write everything on a notepad. Now you have so many resources at your fingertips. You know, do your research. Look at
AI. Look at AI chat, whatever. For young people in school, we'll be checking on plagiarism if you're not doing your homework. Let me tell you right now. You know, but look at some of those things that are open for young people. Just dare to dream, dare to become. Take this vision into a venture, and you'll be surprised what you'll see at the end of the rainbow. But Liberia as itself, the government, we have to do private, public sector engagement so that we grow the economy and open market opportunities, and so that investors can also come in and partner with you on the ground. And we who are at the last end, we have to make sure that when you invest your money in this economy, even as a local person, that if there's any type of breach of the contract, that we as a court, as a judiciary, will be able to give you swift, fair, and rapid relief of your situation. So we're in it together.
Just so the question was asked the Honorable Judge, just to provide information also. You asked how can we as Liberians take ownership? I may be wrong, but as I will not call my age, but as myself. Foreigners have always been in control of our economy. So now if we want to take charge of it, everybody is in first, we need to start where we are to get to where we want to be. What do I mean? Your bank accounts cannot be struggling and you want to start with Bishop business. I'm just being practical. You know the money in your account can start you up with your pepper, but you want pepper, you want to TK. So you have to start from where you are, and gradually you get to where you want to be. That's one. Comparing with foreigners, we may not be on par financially. Sarah putting NIC on the platform, on the stage, so you can read us and answer all the questions if I don't answer them. But NIC, there's a special investment incentive regime that depending on the sector, when you are bringing material, equipment into the country, you have up to 30% deduction. That are meant for only Liberians at certain threshold. So a foreigner will venture in that if the foreigner is above that threshold, then the foreigner has access to it. So let me put it, for example, they will say Liberian owned businesses, the threshold to go into water. And they want to venture into a housing estate. I don't have the money. You may want to venture into that scene. We can partner to get it done. But in partnering, we need to ensure that the goals, the objectives, we are aligned. Because if I'm venturing into that for short term, and you want it for long term, your provision already. So we can start working like that. If we want to take ownership, we need to start working as a team. Because so
we will hold the questions and get the comments there because time is fast and we have other panels coming in.
Okay, so let me just provide some information on the.
Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, please. Where just my bit talked about access to finance and. So at the Ministry of Commerce, hopefully by the close of this year, the government of Liberia and the African Development Agency of project called the GIFT project, we end up with 3 vehicle that will be private companies that will either be into the MSME space. One would be a non-deposit taking financial institution. If you know LIFIC, you know all know LIFIC. LIFIC is a financial institution that only grant all loans. They don't take deposit. Because of the challenge faced with the MSME space, in accessing finance. Even if the finance is there, there's shorter repayment. But you are granted a loan before the beginning of the month, you pay the same month, and the interest rate high. That made it very important for that project to start. So it will be specifically for MSME, longer period of time, lower interest. And the second one will be a guarantee scheme. That even if you go to the partners saying and you don't have the collateral, there will be that company that will come as a cushion to be able to sort out that. And the third one would be a training company that will be responsible, because most of the time they can say in my statement, we want to do business. I mean, the minds are there, but you need to be tutored, you need to be coached, you need to go through an incubator. So that company will be there to drill us through our dream to bring it to reality, and then go for financing. And if you don't have collateral, they push in for the guarantee scheme, you can sort out. So I just thought that it's a rich information that we should have, and hopefully that project is going to be officially launched by the president in April. Thank you.
Last person also, I think behind there, just 1 minute please to express your concerns.
All right, thank you everyone. And I want to give a shout out to In Touch, and also want to say that this should not just be an event celebrating International Women's Day. I think these kind of events should be repeated, if not monthly, quarterly, because as we gather together like this, and all of these ideas are coming up, and then we try to look at what she says, bridging the gap. What are the gaps? I see that what's coming up is like limited, very limited, or no access to finance to even start. Imagine me being an entrepreneur and I apply for a loan. I've taken 3 years before I got it. How many people have patience? So when after the loan for 3 years, my very first loan I got, it took me 3 years to get it. So a lot of people will just break down and just get frustrated. And within those 3 years, imagine me paying facilitation fees. When I listened to the speaker, it was just like, my own story coming out to light. And also we have people in different places in government that has the power to support. They say it, we hear it, but it's not coming forth. What can we do? Sitting in this room, if we gather here more often, we can try to come together with ideas and reach to them. Somebody said, I'm not going to call him. She said she was not calling him, but sometimes it's good to call him. If I see Honorable Jeff Bibo in the seat of national investment, and I know that he has the power to promote female entrepreneurs, can we gather and go to him, to his offices, and say, what is the problem? What can we do? I know it's always on our list. The problems are there, but what are the solutions? And I just want to encourage us to hold these things, hold this kind of event, and not leave it hanging, but identify the solutions, and we can find ways to solve the problems instead of being there is an age-old thing. But we need to support each other. As a business person, let us support. I agree with the speaker that says, try to create jobs. When you get one, you work towards creating job for another. And we can do it together. And women, we are powerful if we work together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, at this time we can all at least say thank you to the panelists. We will just ask them let's just say thank you to the All right, well, let's stretch a little bit, stretch a little bit.
You ready?
All right, like I told you guys, and I sure I represented the First Lady, who is the honored guest. However, the head of our council for the office of the First Lady, who is acting in the office, is just arrived, so it is my singular honor to submit my friends who all went to school together, along with Leonard at Hillwood Mission School, graduated together. So he's in the office of the First Lady. So it is my singular honor to submit to you our COS, acting COS in the office of the First Lady.
On behalf of the First Lady, who is our attention on a private visit, I'd like to meet the Golden Touch Corporation family. Women empowerment. Look, I like what Ms. Anabusa said. It's time for action. We got all the books, we got all the policies, we got everything. And I believe this First Lady, and I start with action because that's what she said. She believed that it's time that the issue of women empowerment and making sure that women fulfill their purpose and function in the way they should function, it's time for empowerment. It's time to make sure that the women are given the space, the women are given the support, and part of the issue of women empowerment. There's some very good points here earlier. It's the fact that there is a need for us to look at the laws that has national structures can become more effective in creating space for women. I see Mr. Structure here from LIBA. As a nation, I think that's what our challenge is right now. And I pray and hope that all of us together, the court and ministry for continue to support, but the First Lady woman to extend her support to the Golden conversation with you to see how her office can work along as the mother of the nation. Knocking on doors, because sometimes take knocking on doors, you know. Take knocking on some doors and making sure that the voice of our women this time, that the women agenda remains a primary objective for our First Lady. Thank you and God bless you.
Through our acting COS. At this time, we don't want to waste your time. I think the discussion is already going, so we will have Madam Leeward Totila to come and lead our second session. So please welcome this.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Like you said, my name is Nawe Tolome, and I'm honored to serve a great group of individuals as your moderator for panel 2. Today I look forward to guiding a powerful conversation that's sure to inspire reflection, connection, and action. The theme for panel 2 is empowering women entrepreneurs in an emerging market. I want to start with a quote from the former president of Malawi. The seeds of success in every nation on earth are planted in women and children. Excuse me over there. Okay, we'll go on and we'll try to keep this one quick. Cooper Liverpool, the co-founder, managing partner of Petra Resources. a board member of Echo Bank Liberia and J Palm Liberia. With over 15 plus years. Thank you. Next, I would like to bring up Ms. Ruby, Human Commissions and 10 plus years in public. President of the Liberia Business Association and
Mr. James, Mr. Schroeder,
I just want to let you know, since you are the only male on the panel, you know, make sure you keep it all together and you have our full support. All right, let's get started. Okay. Hello. Yes. So, like I mentioned, we're going to start with the who, what, when, where, why of all of you leadership journeys. The first question I have today for the panel is, what specific initiatives have you implemented that have made the greatest impact in your respective sectors? This month, I would like you to start off with answering that question.
Thank you very much. First, let me say,
Well, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can talk. Yeah, go ahead. So I want to say thank you to.
but before I can answer our question, I want to bring a little advice to the women. If there's no unity, you will not succeed. Problem. Liberians, we need to do away with the kind of a mindset that we have against each other. Thus, the unity is the hallmark of the day. We distinguish, divide, and movement association was created in 1993 to work with the Liberian own indigenous businesses. And that institution represents all Liberian businesses. But Liberian businesses do not register and become part of the process. How you trade the process to getting yourself to go to where you want to go to. Most of the businesses come to workshops, so no needed to podium and talking, but you do not know even. It's about working together, going together, having meeting together, talking the issue, and making sure that we achieve the issues. But when you call a Liberian man or a Liberian woman for a meeting, they got 10,000 things to do at that and they come home. But when you go back, they see they coming back and say, oh, man, we want this and this is not happening. Policy implementation in our system. Government in government. They are any issue. I listened to the speech from Mrs. Kula when she was talking about sustainability. Everybody lived to when he started agriculture, when he always found the interview, he said the best way to go to change the story of Liberia is to get involved with agriculture. You got a forest. For what you have. But again, we still need to be talking to the bigger guys who they call the government. But Liberians do not want to do business together. We always have CEO and speak to you, they can get put their checks and get signed. But our CEO, when the LC goes, they use they are CEO. Isn't that self-centered? Yeah. Isn't that dividing yourself and sustain, creating difficulty for yourself? Instead of coming together, 2-3 companies coming to build a company to move forward, to be viable. our resources. If you go to Nigeria today, he have come from college, he had nothing left, but the father left. He saw the money, the first thing he said he wanted to open business. The guy came to this same country at that time. I've just got my master too. And every one of our brothers said we should go to World Bank, we should put our CV through to look for. The first company I created in AC Senator and Services. And that company it is the biggest waste company in this republic. I did not look for foreign partner to go back, brought Liberians on the table for us. I've been retired today, so they stay coming back and come back to my office and say, well, they say, no man, the company for all we know, we started in your age. Build a vision, it is not successful unless you put it into action. And the action is very conventional. I want to go back to what you guys have been talking. And you will only succeed when you move. The pastors are here. It's a dead thing. So we speak business, we speak opportunities. We want government to do the. Trust me, other countries is not government. Other countries is the people themselves. When I came to leadership, 2018, August 9, as a head of Liberian businesses in this republic, I have not seen at that time this in this country. It was just difficult to see. But we started preaching the word to the people. Today, we see like your own things on. As I said today, the 50 member states in our region, Liberia have fought to the point of reach the point of create. Our interest is not Nigerian men leaving for all and come here to do business here, but Nigerian men should send what they produce that I will do. And then Liberia to have an optic on the other side for the quality they want as people. So we go back to God. The great lands is what we are preaching. How you can find resources to do something. But what I want us to do to achieve what we all are here. Look, trust me, when the war was tough in our country, and when the women grow. I drive at night to go on Rana Street, and I see our young girls in colleges come with. You know what a commentator of?
But that's just the beginning. So.
Yeah, because I was going to say.
Capture why we are here. Yeah, I wanted to capture why, but it is so sweet today for me to sit among thousands of women who want to really understand how to do business and how to be the.
Since you gave the intro.
Before we progress, I am time to your first interview.
No. It's 2 minutes per question. So I think your time is up.
At least last
Miss Liverpool. I'll ask the question again.
I made a move.
Okay. Thank you.
So just to remind us, I think the question was, what initiatives have you implemented to create impact in your sector? And I will start by sharing a little bit of myself. And I think one of the things I've understood clearly. So I will say that I stumbled into business, and I felt it was possible to of business owners, women business owners in my family. And it started run a consulting firm, and I thought she was crazy. I grew up thinking this woman was crazy for working the hours that she did. I thought she was crazy for. I find myself doing the same thing. And I am now 10 years into running my own house. But to be successful in your own right is excellent. But what you do and how you create spaces for other people, I think is even more important. And that is what we do naturally as women. How do we make a concerted effort? How are we thoughtful and intentional about that? I think is even more important. And personally, I have found myself in underrepresented spaces for women. It didn't start out in the private sector, it started out with public policy on extractive sectors and mining. And today, two of the key initiatives as the only woman in these spaces, or one of a handful of women in these spaces. And to be a token is not sufficient. So two key initiatives that I will share that I've started are the establishment of Liberia's Chamber of Mines, which is a private association of mining to really create a dialogue platform for private sector. We have a lot of public sector leaders, and kudos to the women on this panel and in this room who are in public sector. We always to say that as much as I want to champion women who are brave enough to take up public sector roles, I'm also firmly in private sector leaders. And so I have found myself in the extractive sector. I have found myself working. The second initiative is the establishment of an association of women in mining, particularly because mining scientists have pursued sciences related to mining, but we also have women who are providing critical services to mining companies. And like many other women-owned businesses, that is supporting a mining company. I don't think we appreciate the scale that mining, like a full production mining. There are likely up to 1,000 miles. Who can manage logistics for that, except a woman? Who can do it? Who can think of sourcing onions enough to fix food for 1,000 people every day? And what do we say? Day break what? Fine. And when walk open, who's proud of it? No unspoken tax services, legal services. It's not just about, in our mining sector, there are so many offshoots that are beyond the pit or the mining pit. A productive mining sector, managing the human resources, managing the finances. Whenever we get to finances, we always want to put the woman in front, because why? We believe our girls are into Didiba, but we don't want to say it openly. So we say, look, can we find a strong woman in finance? Can we find a strong woman who will be treasurer? Why? The unspoken one there is because we trust women a little bit more. No problem. If they are there, then how do we amplify that? And lend a space to others. We always have to consider where we are and how are we looking up and down the ladder.
And I think it's really important, you know, as women, we do rule the world, of course, and to have the representation in the schools during career days, so the youth are able to see that the women have other opportunities besides inside the home, and there's new, you know, emerging markets that they're able to get into. So once we're able to go along the way. So thank you.
Thank you. I will also briefly perhaps share my initiatives that I have worked along with my institution and other development partners to make an impact, and I would say make an impact in women. So I like it when we say wherever you are, start from there. Oftentimes we believe that a big or great actually make progress, or before we see ourselves as making an impact or making progress. It has to start from and what you believe about yourself. Most often, as for norms that we are second to men. We will come after the men. We can only move forward if men have that we're equal to men. In fact, he was speaking, he said, people said that female, and because they have compassion, and that is our strength. We move by what we feel. We move by what we believe. And I would think that it is about time. Challenges that we face, it is about time for us to tell ourselves that nothing can hold us back. Ourselves that we need to start to take the first step. It is about time that we tell ourselves that we need to be bold, be brave, be intentional about what we want, and not to allow others to determine or dictate. Because oftentimes, though we believe in ourselves and we have what we want to say and do, we allow the outside influence to act. I started at the Central Bank as a management trainee with a job that someone will say, what is this, right? I've had several instances where people will be like, when I'm going on leave, I entered the Central Bank, I got married, I have 4 children, so I had to go on maternity leave several times. Maternity leave, I was asking another fellow, like, can you do this tax while I leave? And he was like, don't insult me. Wow. So what that meant to him was that the job, and the commitment, and the dedication that I put to it, I believe that was the stepping stone to me becoming director today. And the truth of the matter is that those who even said, don't insult me, I have not take that as an insult. I took that as a determination. As a determination to do what? To make the difference. To give it the relevance that it needed. Because a man did not see that relevance. I saw that relevance and I ran with it. And what was that? It was about credit reference, so providing credit information for people that would want to take loans from the banks. And it's like, why should I sit just checking to see whether someone told me, what is this? But from there, and that commitment, my bosses believe that, okay, then you can work since you. And this is for access to finance. We're about to start the collateral registry for movable asset, and we believe that we can work on it. If I had thought that that was not in work, and we worked along with the Business Association, where developing the focus was, we have men that are currently owners of land. And if you go to a bank and you ask for a loan, the first thing they will ask you was saying, can we look at other things other than just a landed property? A businesswoman has an inventory. She may not have title to the home that she may have built. We heard Samuela talk about selling in the market. Oftentimes, sometimes they're selling, they're giving money to the husband is buying land and putting it in his name. And she doesn't have access to that property. But she has her shop. She has the inventories in her shop that she controls and that she manages. And the collateral registry project was saying, use what you have, even though it is not landed properties. Again, the banks use this as a basis to provide funding to businesses and small and medium enterprises, but that was also targeted to women. Because women are the that provided access access to finance to a lot of women. We also work along with the central bank and several other facilities, the SME loans. And in partnership with it, can you identify businesses, Liberian businesses, male businesses that can access funding from the banks? We also have had, through the Financial Markets Department now, the Investors Program, where we have the CBL bills that are for monetary policy. We have a second arm of that to encourage investments, right? And so you have access to funds, perhaps, and it starts with $10,000 Nigerian. You can invest, you have that money in your bank, you can invest it into the CBL bills, and from there you start to earn income. Right now the rate is around 17% per annum. Now these are initiatives that we have. I have spoken about these, but I think it's important for me to also stress that oftentimes, whilst we as women are trying to grow and develop, whether our businesses or professionally, something that is key is we need to be eager for information. We have this investors program, we've gone on the air, we've spoken about it. It's possible a lot of people haven't heard about it, but when we were fixing the forum, we wanted to understand how many females, for example, had access to the information and were actually coming to invest in the CBL bills. And we see that of the amount of investments we're receiving, only 37% are females. Now, there is no discrimination for this. It is as low as $10,000 Liberian dollars. Anybody sitting in this room at one point in time or the other must have felt $10,000 Liberian dollars. But we're not thinking from that perspective. We talk about access to finance. When you have invested, when you have opened an account, when you're in university, to open accounts, we should be able to put money into the accounts that banks will see and know that this is someone that can save. That when you're coming today to say, I want to start a business, that bank is sure that $100 every quarter in your account. And I thought that it was important. Whilst we're talking about some of the initiatives, again, like I said, let us start from where we are to get to where we want to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Those sound like some really good initiatives that empower women and that can empower women in the entrepreneurial field.
Okay, so basically I think we just sat together because we are from the government arm. So at the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission, some of the initiatives that we have actually initiated to empowering women is the gender responsive public procurement policy. Someone says even if you have all of the good policies in place, the implementation and the knowledge sharing or the awareness created to women-owned businesses or to other businesses is the issue. So in 2022, we realized that the only policy we had for gender responsiveness in the country was the SBA law, which is the Small Business Act, that says 25% of all government procurement budget for Liberian-owned businesses, and out of the 5% for women-owned businesses. When we go on the field to monitor, we couldn't achieve the 5%. We were achieving the 25% for Liberian-owned businesses and more, because at that time we had some initiatives and programs going on, but the 5% was an issue. So in 2022, we took on some survey in the counties to know why women are not participating in government tenders, to know as to what are the barriers for which they are not moving from the informal sector to the formal sector, because government will only do business with the formal sector. So we went on the field, we got a lot of data, and some of these challenges were the financial access to finances to become formal businesses. Some of the challenges were the complex bidding processes. Some of the challenges were the assurance that there was some in terms of assuring them that the Sweden Embassy, UN Women, and other donor partners like AFDB, and we were able to come to this specific point to know that women needed more than just 5%. And the participation of women were very low. So we have this policy. Currently, our PPCC law is under review and is currently with the House for passage and then the President's Office approval. So we have this gender responsive public procurement, which is going to give women leverages in public tenders. One of it is we have the policy of subcontracting. So we are instructing every Lebanese, every foreign businesses, Liberian-owned businesses, the male businesses, that if you have a contract of certain threshold, you are mandated to subcontract a woman-owned business, because we realize that some of them don't have the financial strength to pre-finance, and most of our government contracts are pre-financed. These are the requirements. You should be able to pre-finance some of the contracts you finish before government pays you your money. But so we are asking them to subcontract women-owned businesses. These are requirements. That if you have a contract, for example, a construction contract of $500,000 to build a school in Limba County, you should be able to subcontract a portion, whether for catering or whether maybe for construction of latrine, or any part of that contract should be subcontracted to a woman engineering business or construction company. Another one we have. Another policy the PPCC is putting into place through the gender responsive procurement is that we should reserve any procurement agency. We have 148 procuring entities in Liberia. So 148 procuring entities should be able to reserve at least one contract package that only women-owned businesses will participate in. So it's a woman-owned business. So we know that we will exceed the 5%. We want to move from 5% to 10%, and when we calculate or we see the progress over the next 5 to 10 years, and we can now advocate for more percentage. But that is the second policy. Our third policy we are working with is to ensure that the Liberia Business Registry, the NASCOP, because NASCOP is one of the legal documentation acquisition entity, Liberia Revenue Authority, we are working with them to ensure that they have fees reduction for women-owned businesses that will go and register or want to be legal business or formal business, because most of them complain that they don't have the strength to go to LRA or business registry because the money too much, even as low as $2,000. So we are working with these government institutions as stakeholders to ensure that we have reduction in fees for women-owned businesses that want to do business or want to be in the formal sector. Another initiative that PPCC is undertaking in terms of ensuring that women-owned businesses are mainstream is giving them training, or we are creating awareness on how to submit responsive bids, because our challenge, remember, one of the challenges the women share with us was the complex procurement process or the complex bidding submission. So we want to provide training for them, creating step-by-step manual on the bid responsive to government tenders. So we are going to be doing trainings for women-owned businesses. And foremost, one of the most important and heartbeats of PPCC currently. So over years, we've realized that the hand-to-hand paper-based procurement has been one of the medium or conduit of corruption. I was in a taxi this morning, and they had two guys in the back, they were talking, and they said the two main places for corruption in government is the controller and the procurement. I was like, in my heart, I said, yeah, you're right. Paper-based procurement, we've seen a lot of challenges. We've encountered a lot of complaints. We see that people have enriched themselves through procurement processes. So PPCC, the president on February 6th this year launched the e-procurement platform. This platform is an electronic platform that all government entities are going to be doing procurement there. So the system is set. If you have business registration, you have tax clearance, as long as you say yes, you pass to the next stage. So it's a success system, no interaction with human. You're going to be sitting wherever you are, whether Maryland County, whether Nimba, or whether Lofa, and you are going to submit your bid. And if you are responsive according to the system requirement or according to the tender requirement, you are going to be contacted or emailed to tell you we want to eliminate face-to-face procurement. So the system is set to give women-owned businesses opportunities, because we realize that the men know how to find their ways in the system. We get to the point where if this man was here to get a contract, he talks to the men and their bodies, they drink beer, they knock glasses, and it's okay. But for me, I walk in here, the first thing he wants to sleep with me. That's the truth.
Well, thank you.
So these are the initiatives we are taking on, but as we go further in the discussion, we're going to be expanding and hoping to your questions to answer. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. That's pretty exciting to know that it's pretty exciting to be able to hear anything that has to do with advancing the technology in this country. I think that will really move things forward.
So I keep the time again. So for the next session, the question will be asked, given 2 minutes to respond to the question.
All right.
In the 2 minutes time, we should review at least a sound. I mean, you are reaching. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for that insight. So we'll go ahead and ask, it's going to be the last question. It's going to be a 2-part question, part A and part B. Part A is, how have you overcome the barriers in your within your institution to create lasting change in your field, as well as I would like for you to offer a call to action, something short but impactful that captures your leadership journey and vision. So we're sticking to overcoming. How did you overcome the institutional barriers in your field, and also offering a call to action, something that shows your leadership and your vision for the future. Mr. Strong, we'll start with you.
Thank you. As leader, I need to be specific because we are discussing business today. The Liberia Business Association was challenged. Let me tell you, in our country, you have to focus on management and leadership. And today, we can see there's a direction that we're taking, shifting from one point to another. Even the Kula I was talking to you, there are more library businesses today that we can point at, and they are progressing. Even the institution that goes to the show, we need to be focused, and we are focused. Our drive is to make sure Liberian-owned businesses take the lead of our economy. So let me be able to talk when there is an issue, all the different sectoral grouping, because there are different sectors of our economy. We make sure that we are the everybody sitting to talk with government to make sure that the institutions are moved. So please join us and leave out where there is an issue, bring an issue on the table, and we'll link you to the referral institution that's supposed to support you to make sure we get it. We work with you when there's a struggle. We got tax business where you can handle, come to us, we'll be able to work with you. So we want to say to you, women, our concern is you. So let's work as an institute. Coming to my company have built so many Liberian-owned waste sector in the Republic. You can see so many waste sectors that people that we put our own time to train them to get them to where we wanted to go. So today, let's try to extend hands to one another to see how we can uphold each other to move the line. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we please acknowledge that Mr. Strother used his 2 minutes?
Yes, he did.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. So I think part A was about how have I overcome barriers to create lasting change in my institution. I think in my first response, I didn't really talk about my own business. I spoke about also is female accredited business by the EP evaluations for companies. And again, I think what I've continued to try to champion is that representation matters. So anybody who walks into my office will likely also see other women who are doing unconventional jobs. So they get to show up in rural remote areas in an unconventional role with hard hats and steel-toe boots and reflective vests. And they are often an anomaly for rural women. But there's such a curiosity about them and what are they doing. And it has been a challenge to continue to support them in being in unconventional spaces. Sometimes it takes a lot of personal resilience and resolve to decide I will stand here in the discomfort. And it's not because it has not been uncomfortable at many moments, but holding somebody else's hand also and supporting them through the discomfortable with it, but also for them as emerging professionals to appreciate that not because it is uncomfortable means it's not worth it. And I think the part B to the question is what is a call to action? And I think this call to action is for Golden Touch, but also for each of us. I think there are three key things that help me appreciate that there are so many more conversations to have. Primary among those for us is the conversation of financial inclusion. I personally wear a number of hats. I think you mentioned that I also sit on the board of probably our largest commercial bank. There are a number of conversations to be had about financial inclusion, about bridging the gap between informal and formal sectors, about how do we actually, my colleague here from the central bank talked about having these opportunities available, but how do we bring people along? It could be from the basics. I think one of the previous panelists even spoke about having entrepreneurship classes in high school. That is such a lost art. But what that builds in terms of a resilient spirit is priceless. But what happens for people who are not accessing formal education? Do they miss out on this opportunity? No. We have to find ways to bridge that gap for transitioning from the informal to the formal sector, because that is how we even the opportunities. It really just unlocks unlimited potential. And it is forever and wherever possible. The second one is also do we have, this has also come up across each of the panelists, do we have considerations? The Minister of Finance is having routine conversations now with the private sector. When you sit at those tables, it's a lot of things, but there are absolutely some voices that are not being heard here. How do we continue to consolidate and amplify conversations for women business owners on a routine basis? We can work through our problems consistently, but we will have to eat that elephant meat slowly. We're not just going to take it at one bite and solve all our problems. And I think the team from the Ministry of Commerce has spoken about is incubators and business incubators. For just what I'm saying, how we bridge this gap. And we have a number of business incubators locally. And they are Liberian run, which means that they understand. And I think the Judge Morgan spoke about one that she's affiliated with. That's another hat that I wear. I chair the board of an organization. And they are leading on, they have an established business incubator process. This is phenomenal to see, to understand how, they're just the basics of business. It's not only about bookkeeping, but that service is absolutely foundational. In other markets, it could be more established, but even more so for us in Liberia, where they're doing what we need to bridge that gap and to transition towards more formal businesses. Thank you.
Thank you. That allow other businesses coming up to be able to get trained by individuals that have already walked that path.
Sure. So, talk about how you meet the challenges or obstacles in our different field. I think I touched on that a little, but something I would quote that I would like to say by Charlie Foster. Sometimes adversity is what you need to face in order to become successful. I'm not saying it to say that if you don't struggle, you cannot be successful. I'm saying it to say that when you're faced with adversity, read it as a definition of who you will be, or the fact that you cannot exceed. You know, that a vantage point. What is it that I'm supposed to learn? How can I learn from it? How can I become at the central bank, there has been support to an extent for female, but sometimes the support is difficult up there. That's something that we see in Liberia as well. When we preach that women empowerment, the doors are open and keep, excelling. And so to be able to make that difference, you have to know your voice. You have to be authentic to yourself. And you have to be able to speak based on what you believe. For some reason, I believe that as women, we have a different approach to things. We see things differently because we are mothers. We see voices to be heard in its authenticity. We're respected for what we have to offer. Oftentimes when we shy away from that and we try to speak in the voice of the males that perhaps are speaking in the room, then we become a part of what is being said and we do not stand up to go up. And I also at the Central Bank try to talk to all other females. I have females come to with challenges. Just yesterday I was talking to another female that was discussing some of the issues that she faced with another female. And this is something that is key. That sometimes our problems may not be because we have male bosses. Our problems sometimes is because competition with each other. And it's about us understanding that we're not on competition. Our responsibility is to support each other. And we're talking about this, and she was talking about some of the challenges to females and talking to them to understand, for example, how to get around female leaders. Because I'm also faced with the same when I have to deal with other females within the office. And sometimes, just that talk can make someone to know how to start the day, how to interact with another person. Those are some of the things that I do within, the institution. But just key to what lesson we can take from all of what there are a lot of initiatives, but sometimes it's not going to those who really need them. And we talk about access to finance and some of the initiatives that the Central Bank have done. I always like to make because when she was speaking, I cried. I cried not because I had to suffer. I cried not because my mom had to work in the market. I cried because another and they're not aware of the opportunities that are there. We have universities, we're leaving our market to go to that university to find out that when a child has graduated from high school, she could apply for a scholarship. I would just want to say for all of us, and even to Golden Touch, people, not all of them will come into the school room and sit and listen to what is being done. Sometimes we need to go and meet them at the place that they are and actually break down what is out there for them, that they can participate and be a part of all of these good things that are happening. Because men will leave in the markets, they're trying to find food for their children, and they cannot leave the market to do other things. So let us go to where the information is really needed and break it down, so that they can also be a part of what is happening in our country. Thank you.
About raising awareness and having that representation. And if we have that at all levels, like that was just mentioned, it'll bring all the entrepreneurs together and give them the opportunity to emerge.
Okay, so for me, basically there are a lot of challenges. Like,
you can say one.
Okay. So let me just start from personal experience. My dad got retired when I was just entering my senior year at the university, and he's not from Liberia. He wants to go back home. So I was left with no support. And this day I was strolling through at PPCC. By then, these were things that were very common to everyone. And I thought to take advantage of it, not because I have passion for procurement, be on BBC, CNN as a correspondent. And I was pursuing that dream. I was at the radio station by then at Love FM. I used to. When I saw this advert, I thought to take it because the salary was high and it was enough to pay my school fees. So I took it just for the money. And that was how I entered PPCC as an office assistant. My work was just to receive documents and take it to the relevant office. That was it. I was cool with it because the job was so easy and the money was much. And it supported my school anyway. So I was happy I took the job. And I remember when I went for interview, the first question I said, to procure means to buy. And when you add the public there, it's to buy for general public. So that was how So fun fact, I entered as an office assistant. For a few months, I sat and started to read through documentations. I started to go. And I worked as an office assistant for 4 years. I started growing. From project officer, I became a special assistant to the executive director and chief of office staff. And later on, I became a policy officer. It was passion for procurement, and not just procurement, but there were a lot of things in procurement that was not being exercised. And one of in 2022, I saw that as an opportunity to actually grow myself within. I started taking on online courses in gender procurement, and I was able to responsible to formulate policies that would mainstream gender and bridge gaps for gender inclusiveness. Giving platforms are giving the voice or giving the opportunities for their voices to be heard. And that was a personal challenge for me that I overcame: determination, persistency, and the passion. In the workplace, there are challenges right now that we have. Like she said, I'll just build on hers. Like the message is not reaching to the relevant people it should be reaching out to. So awareness is one thing that we are facing serious challenges with. So another challenge we are facing currently is the fact that policy implementation, we have fine policies, like I mentioned, everyone was clapping, but how is it going to be implemented? So we are currently putting into place activities like monitoring. Like we started with the monitoring of the SBA law, the 5% for women owned. So we are going to ensure vigorous monitoring processes that will ensure that we actually be able to meet these particular policy implementation or meet the target lines. A call to action for me will be the financial sector, central bank. I send it back to you. You are the regulator of financial institutions in Liberia. We've heard the cries of our mothers Madam Sambula mentioned that the loan processes, the interest rates, we've seen that even the fact that they are going outside Monrovia, outside their comfort zones, the disadvantages that they encounter in terms of receiving these goods, and other government institutions such as public works, because if we have good road networks, women from the market don't have to go in those villages to bring the goods to town for us. So the call to action will be my own government stakeholders like the central bank to ensure or to work with commercial banks in terms of the percentage of loan interest, and Ministry of Commerce, the Liberia Business Registry. The Liberia Business Registry sits at the office and receives people to come and do their registration. But what's about those women-owned businesses that are not in the formal sector, but they are in Bogonjide, and they don't have the access to come to town to do business registration? If you agree with me, most of our service centers are dead. So they don't even exist. So what is the Liberia Business Registry doing? Liberia Business Association, I met you like a few Saturdays ago when I told you that I wrote you a letter for statistics on how many registered business do you have in your organization. Likewise, the LBRO, so that we can be able to use these statistics to get out to these women. How many business in Nimba County that is registered with you? How many in Maryland County? We were not able to get these statistics because, I don't know, for whatever challenges, but it's a call to action for government institutions. Another call to action is the women supporting women. We need to be supportive of each other, collaborating. If I have a mindset to have a fashion design company, I was talking to young women recently at a leadership program where I talk about collaborating, networking, and mentoring each other. Sometimes we don't have access to mentors who are in the offices or who have succeeded in these various sectors, but we can be our own strength. If I want to be a fashion design person and you also have that same dream, we will collaborate and make a very big empire of fashion designing. So that is a call to action for me. And before I put down my microphone, I'd like to say procurement. Let's get in mind, procurement is not just a transaction. Procurement is a tool used for equity. So let women use that particular tool to be able to equalize to our male counterpart. Thank you.
Thank you. One or two questions. Any questions?
So they were all asked. Did I have
1 minute, 30 seconds.
Excuse me. So they will all ask the question, and when they refer it to you, you just write it down, and then after the question, and we can just answer it and just close, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Angie Ehika, and my question actually is going to Ruby. Javier Jones just spoke, the procurement. You talked about an e-platform that the government has. Is it up and running now? And if it is up and running, how do we get access to that platform?
No, who take the seat?
Is there another question? Do we have one more question?
So actually, I have a comment. Is it allowed?
Yes, go ahead,
Okay. So for the women who have gone before us, who have died in the struggle, for us to stand here today to have these beautiful discussions, can we just have a moment of silence for them? Thank you. So I've listened to all of our panelists, and we've mentioned the importance of access to information. So we at the Female Journalists Association of Liberia, we remain committed to providing the support for our women journalists. And we encourage people like you, please don't go to procurement
there's a lot of opportunities for female journalists, and we need more people in managerial and administrative positions to take up women issues. We're doing that work. We'll continue to do that work. And I want all of us to learn from history. There are women who have gone in the path that we're attempting to go through. Let us go back. Let us take a pause. When it gets hard, they have been there. Let's learn from them. We've talked about mentorship, but we can also look back to the books, to history. If someone in this room wants to be a president today, you know where to start from. We've been privileged as a nation to have a beautiful and successful president. So that is one place to start from. We have beautiful, successful entrepreneurs who have gone before us, and we can also start from there. Let's go back to history and start from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can do one more question since that was a comment.
Okay, I don't have a question, it's just a comment. And mine will be 30 seconds. Okay, my name is Masa Mabekzak. This has been a great conversation, and I think we all agree that we need to continue to have these kind of conversations. The point I wanted to make is about the intersectionality of women. I think she mentioned the e-procurement platform. She just in line with the comment I want to make, the e-procurement platform. So is it only for people in Monrovia? Are the services, will the services be decentralized? I think these are the questions to think about as well. And women in Monrovia are not going to have the same challenges as women in the rural areas. And then if you take it to the next level, women who are disabled, what are you doing about that? The policies that you're developing or the implementation, just to ensure that all of these women, one way or the other, they're impacted, because it's a procurement is a tool that is used for equity. And if you're talking about equity, you have to think about these different intersections of women. Thank you.
All right. You can go ahead and answer. Are we taking another one?
First of all, I would say thank you for this initiative, and I really appreciate it. But my question here has to do with the empowerment of women. I think we are trying. So one of our panelists spoke about people paying taxes and it's a challenge and so on. So I'm using my own, meaning in the educational center where I have a school. But then we pay taxes, we want to be strict with government, we do everything that is due to do. But one of the discouraging parts, very discouraging, is that at the end of the day, what do you get back? So, for example, do we get books for our students? Do we have proper libraries? Are the government even checking on these schools? For example, I have a school, I'm trying to live up to the standard of the government or even beyond. But I have another school that is right behind my school that is just running just like that. So what I feel, okay, how can the government, because I know most of us work in the government, that also goes to the Liberia Business Registry. Before we have a business, we must go through that. And the bank, central bank, and also to the public procurement lady. So I know you have a word in there, please. Thank you.
Okay, so I did expect it, that most of the questions were going to be for me. So the e-procurement platform is currently the e-procurement platform on February 6th. We had 6 piloting institutions, PBCC made it 6, So those 6 pilot institutions is the PPCC, Nigeria Revenue Authority, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Public Works, Ministry of Health, and Ministry of Finance. These were the 6 pilot institutions, and currently they are doing all the procurement process now on the platform. Last week, we just